day in my IB Math Studies class, we were talking about functions and tangent lines, and I wanted to show the kids that depending on where you are in the function, there's always a different equation for the tangent line. So I went to Desmos, I picked an interesting enough polynomial, and I found tangent lines at different values. So here it is at x equals -3, -2, -1, etc. And I was going to come and click on each one at a time and explain to the kids that as we move along, the tangent line changes, but each of them is still tangent at a point. And I realized in this process that I'm actually really bad at talking and clicking at the same time, so I wanted to animate this so I could hit play, the kids could watch it, and I could just talk while they were watching. So I tried a bunch of different workarounds with sliders and subscripts, and none of that worked until my friend Mary suggested a really simple way to animate a graph. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to set an index so that when that index has a certain value, each of these lines will graph for a different index value. So for example, I'm going to set my index to be b equals 1. You could use any variable. I'm going to say b equals 1 just because it seems like a good plan. So sometimes it will ask if you want to create a slider for b. In this case, it didn't, so we're just going to create our own. Just say b equals 1 down here. And now, because b is 1, we see that this line is graphed, but if I change the value of b, that line disappears because b is not 1. Now, we come down here, we can add another index, b equals 2, b equals 3, and we can keep going for all of them, but I won't bore you. You want to make sure you turn the graphs on so that when we get to that value of b, the lines do show up, otherwise it'll just be blank and you'll think you broke something. And now we see that when I make it 3, the third line shows up. When I make b 2, the second line shows up. Now as it's set up right now, this is kind of annoying because there's all these values in between, so let's just adjust our slider. My first value is 1, my last value that I've filled in is 3, and then let's just count by ones because that's what my index is counting by. So come back out here, and now it's just 1, 2, and 3. We just see those graphs. And what's really cool about this is now I can hit play, and it will animate on its own. And we can affect this. I can change the speed if I want it to go faster. I can change, if I don't want it to go back and forth, I can change it so it only goes forward and starts over each time. And if I had all of these, you'd see all of these lines start to show up as we go. Now, for tangent lines, that's not the most exciting thing, but this simple fix allows you to then create an animation like a bouncing ball. So here I just created a circle that looks like it's bouncing along the x-axis. I was a little fast with my indexes, but I could have added more spaces in between so that it would have been smoother, but the idea is still the same.